A few minutes later, the phone rang, and Gail called and said, I just heard from a distributor who wanted to give her supply of bras away because she has a full-time job, and I think this is an omen for you to do the business. Well, at that point, I couldn't say no to Gail, and it's hard to say no to Gail anyway. So as you surmised, during lunch, I signed on the dotted line. Gail has been persistent, has really paid off because she was there when I was ready to make the decision. She's been there every step of the way for me, training and encouraging me, and it really is a pleasure and a joy to work with Gail and her team. Thank you.
Well, I think you did a terrific job, Marilyn. And I liked Marilyn from the minute I saw her, and I said she'd be good in this business because she was a great business person, a great people person, self-starter, so I knew. And that's why I kept in touch with her. So remember that, ladies, when you're out there and you meet somebody that you just know would be great. So I'm going to move on to Mary. Mary, are you there? She was at a ball game.
I'm here, and I'm just going to, I will keep it concise, but I have a little anecdotal note to share on the issue of timing in that, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I called Marilyn at her curves, and I introduced myself the way Gail had instructed me to and asked if she would be interested in hosting a bra clinic, and she promptly told me no. and Gail called me, and I said, Gail, I called the woman in Portsmouth, but she said no. And she said, well, I'll call her. I said, she's going to tell you no, Gail. But Gail got her. So, Mary. So I am Mary, and I joined Gail and Janique 3 years ago, and at that point, I had a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, 7, 9, and 12 were my kids. And I had been home for quite a long time, and in the issue and topic of timing, it was time for me to start looking to do something out of the home. I was anxious to be a little more professional. You know, I do a lot of volunteer work. I was anxious to be out working, but not full-time. I needed to be home. When I first came on, I had a lot of fun traveling around to different curves with Gail and Kate and meeting a lot of wonderful people, including Marilyn. And that worked for a while. But as time has gone on, I now have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and most of you know who've had kids those ages, they need mom at home, they need to be run around, and they just need to hear. So I have had to back away from being on the road. In the meantime, we've had several kind of iterations of the marketing plan, which I didn't pay much attention to, but lo and behold, along comes June 1st. We have this marketing plan that I find fascinating, and I realize that I might be able to stay home and still do this business by finding recruits and working with recruits. And in the meantime, I had also turned myself toward my hometown and built a business here, which I had neglected to do. I hadn't asked people in town, would you like fittings? Here, would you like to hear about my bra? I had really been focused on being on the road. So I now have a business in town, and I also started spending more time at fundraising sorts of events, girls' nights out, places close to home where I would be interested in the networking, I have to say, more than the actual fittings that night. Who was I meeting? Where could they lead me? And sometime, I don't remember when, maybe before the summer, Gail got a call asking her to be part of a health wellness event, I guess, at a chiropractor, somewhere between her and me. She couldn't make it, so Kate and I went. And we're busy fitting. It was a wonderful day, business-wise. And at the end of the day, one of the owners, Brenda, of the practice, came up to me and said, I'm really interested in this business. I see what you've been doing. We hadn't fit her. We really had not met her very much, but she was interested. So since then, Brenda Page has started. She's bought stock. She is now a member of our company. She's worked with Gail and me on training, and we have she's keeping me on track. I have a business partner now who I can do fittings with, and she's about, 30 minutes from my house. We have consistent times every week or every other week or so where we're fitting, and it's working out great for me, and I hope it's going to work out wonderfully for Brenda. And she's on tonight, so I get to introduce my first recruit, Brenda Page. Brenda, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you ready to go?
I am, thank you.
All right.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brenda Page, and as Mary said a few minutes ago, my husband and I own some chiropractic offices, and I met Mary at one of the women's health events at one of our offices. Anytime I've planned that type of event, a women's expo, a night out, something like that, I always include someone to come in and do bra sizings because that is usually the biggest pull or attraction to bring women in. So when I saw the wonderful company that Mary was representing, I was all about it. I mean, my timing was immediate because I realized the need, and I thought it would be wonderful if I could help the women myself, because I just know, as you guys all know, how women need the products. So that was a little bit about my timing. It was just immediate because there is such a need. And Mary also talked about the timing of what we're doing to fit the business into our schedules. We both have a lot of other commitments. So what we've done is we've set up kind of like little bra clinics within my offices where we will have set times, and we take appointments during those times. And women come to us, and we're right there, and we fit several women in a short amount of time. And it's a lot of fun. It's also, utilizing our resources very well because we're both there. We have lots of inventory to take care of their sales or their needs. And I couldn't imagine doing this business any other way if I couldn't consolidate my time in that way. It just worked out perfectly. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity. I'm very thankful for Mary and Gail's patience, and I'm excited to continue working. I've been in the business about a month and a half, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
I want to talk a little about Brenda and Mary for a minute, and I just want to tell you, if you see them in action, they complement each other. Number one, they both have caring and nurturing personalities, so they just clicked. I'm just observing from the outside, and they make a good buddy team. So I think that they're going to do great, and I'm just happy to have you join Mary, Brenda, and I just think you're going to do wonderful. And I'd like to introduce my last. I'm trying to keep this short because I know that we only have a half hour. And my last, but not least, is Giselle. Giselle, are you there? Giselle?
Do you want me to start talking?
Yep.
Okay. I knew Gail way back 23 years ago. She and I were both in Cameo. I actually started wearing the bras towards the end of my last trial for nursing, and then wore them after forever for 23 years. I actually sold the bras for about 10 years, and then things changed. I felt led to homeschool my children, and then after that, my husband needed help in the business, so we went into his business, and so I kind of petered out when those doors closed. In the meantime, Cameo had switched hands to Janique, and I just didn't feel compelled, but I kept current, and I kept using the bras, and I had customers who were just reorders, but I wasn't looking for new business. It came to a point where I needed to order some more bras, and Janique was no longer carrying this particular style that I love. So in a moment of panic, I was calling everyone to see who had any left in stock. And Gail had some, and she was at the Fall River Curves. So I went to the Curves, and she talked to me. She showed me a couple of the new bras, and I ordered I got the old bra from her, the old style, and she asked me if I would come back in the business, and I said, oh no, it wasn't for me. I felt at this time. About a year later, I don't know. I guess she called me